Hello everyone, good morning. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat. Thank you everyone. So that's what I'm looking at today on US100. By the way, do you recognize the background music today? Yesterday I was using another background music. Today I'm using another one because yesterday someone did a copyright strike on my live stream, and because of that I had to cut most of the part of that background music. So I'm not gonna be using that music anymore. Rather I chose another music, not good like the one before, but yeah, it's okay, it will work. Anyway, let's focus on chart on US100. That's what I'm looking today. Everything is marked here on 4 hour. Okay, you do see that we have a daily on daily chart. If I take you guys on daily chart, you can see the price is inside this CB, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Here nothing significant here to watch on daily chart, but once I drop down to the hourly chart, you can see that we have a BC here, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency on hourly chart, and then price generated relative equal low before our macro, okay, before the PMI news. Here you can see that that's the relative equal low, and we do have this big hourly fair value gap that is unfilled. Also we have a order block from daily chart here. So what I believe and think, and my analysis is telling me, is that a run into the sell side liquidity is possible before we run towards buy side liquidity. And now the price is coming aggressively towards the buy side. I think a hit on in this fair value gap will make price to shift. So that's what I'm expecting on Nasdaq, US100. On ES, okay, on ES I do see this BPR. So a run into this BPR is very much possible, but keep in mind that we are inside this fair value gap. BC, it is here to provide support for price towards the buy side. Okay, we do have relative equal highs, unfilled gap here. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm on hourly chart. If I drop down to the 50-minute, you will be able to see that these candles high are actually relative equal highs, which is paired with unfilled fair value gap. So yeah, it's very much possible for price to run here, but I'm expecting a drop into this BPR, this hourly BPR that I showed you. Okay, and on Dow price just hit the hourly BPR. Okay, balanced price range, gigantic pool of liquidity. That's what we know. That's how we use a BPR on Dow. On YM you can see the price came down overnight, and now it hit this fair value gap, this BPR. And do we have a target towards the buy side liquidity? Yes, we do have a high probability target that I marked here, is this failed fair value gap that will work as inversion. At least I want to see it working as inversion, or we can target here, okay, up here. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at on Dow. Nothing complicated today. It's very simple for me today. The price action is not choppy like other days. It's clean. So let's see from where price will get support, and to do that we'll have to drop down to the lower time frame. To be honest, NQ looks way cleaner to me compared to Dow and ES, because on NQ, if you look here, NQ just hit the fair value gap, okay, and it generated relative equal lows here. So to me, I think a run into this relative equal low is very much possible, and we do have a breaker block here. So I'm not expecting a run into this breaker block, so I'll just hide it, but keep in mind that we do have a breaker block here. These down close candles that you see, higher high, new higher high, so that becomes our breaker block, and price came into this I think hourly fair value gap. Yeah, this hourly fair value gap, price hit it. We do have relative equal lows towards the sell side. Now let's wait for the time to get match. PMI is very much tradable. Okay, don't get scared of PMI. If you have a clean analysis and if you are willing to risk some money, that if you lose, you will not get emotionally like hurt. You can trade it. It's very much tradable. I traded it before most of the time. Okay, and I made profit by trading PMI. So let's wait and let's see how price does it. I'm gonna keep the 1 minute chart here and the 5 minute here. So I run into these lows. That's what I'm expecting to see at PMI. Okay, if PMI is bullish, then we'll look for short at 920 to 930. Relative equal highs here. I'm on 1 minute chart, by the way, so if we look at a little bit more choppier compared to the higher time frames. Equal high, and we do have this unfilled fair value gap here, but if I'm shorting, okay, if I'm finding a setup before the 830, I will target down here this inversion that you see here, this one, this BC, this failed BC. Okay, this will be a very easy target, but let's wait for to see price manipulating. Okay, and you can see the price delivered relative equal highs here. It's good, you know, when price does something like that, like clearing out relative equal highs, then it gives us a clean analysis towards the sell side as we see these relative equal lows. And price came up, hit this fair value gap, 1 minute fair value gap here. On 5 minute chart, that's the order block. Why I'm just looking a little bit more choppier, but I do see relative equal lows here. So price cleared out relative equal high here, and now let's see where price is providing liquidity. It's aggressively providing liquidity towards the buy side. There was no setup that we could have taken or be part in this news movement. Okay, price delivered towards the buy side aggressively. Nice. Now let's see how far it's going. There's a major level of buy side liquidity that price provided. Okay, I want to see price going below this fair value gap, this hourly fair value gap. And on 5-minute chart, you can see the price generated a big freaking wick. So, you know, when we see a big wick, we measure it and we wait for a retracement from the consequent encroachment. That will be an ideal scenario for price to do so. I don't actually see any trade idea here, other than price taking out major level of buy side liquidity, then coming down, closing you can dashboard below the last up close candle. And do you guys see how beautifully price is just retesting this order block? I don't see price giving me any entry here though. Let's look at Dow. I'm looking at Dow. Let's see if price presenting us anything in Dow. QM crossing. If you look at Dow, the target that I gave you, the high probability target, fair value gap, right? The inversion that I told you from 50-minute chart. Do you guys remember? Let me show you. 15-minute. Price came up, right? All the way up here. Didn't hit this inversion. Didn't came in inside this inversion, but it just tapped into it and then it dropped, okay? So I was expecting the same thing to happen, a run into this inversion first on Dow and then a drop, but this drop was very aggressive. As you can see, price didn't give us a chance to enter. It just clearing out sell side liquidity aggressively. And on Dow, you can see that this fair value gap is now holding price. So let's see how Dow does it. I do see relative equal lows below here, but I wanted to take part in this trade, you know, like targeting these relative equal lows, but price didn't give me any chance to enter. Anyway, we are inside of our macro, by the way, so okay, I think I do see a trade idea from this fair value gap, okay? This is a fair value gap and I'm expecting to see this fair value gap getting filled. But I don't really see a breaker block here that I can execute on, okay? It's gonna be a low probability trade for me. I wanna see something more like that will give me confirmation, more confirmation. If price was coming up and hitting the consequent encroachment of this week, that would have been like an ideal scenario for me to look for a short. But here, can we short here? I do see relative equal lows here, unfilled fair value gap here. If we are taking this trade, we can take a partial. Where can we take a partial? We can take a partial at this candle side. That's a mitigation block. But I'm just gonna be waiting a little bit more, okay? I do see price respecting this order block. What order block? This up close candle right here. It's the order block right now, and price came up, okay, respecting the week of this order block. But if you look at 5-minute chart, I do see a big week, okay. So it would make more sense to me if price is coming up and hitting the midway or the consequent encroachment of this big week. So I'll just wait and see how price does it. I'm not gonna be pushing button. Inside I'm feeling it, okay. Inside I'm feeling to push the button as I see relative equal lows here, then unfilled fair value gap here. I do see a place where I can take a partial. I also do see a place where I can take my take profit, but I will not take it. I'll just wait for a little bit more confirmation. I want to see price coming up and hitting the consequent encroachment, okay. Then I'll be thinking about shorting this price action. Other than that, I'm feeling impulsiveness inside me, okay. It's not something that will be gone from inside of you, like after some time. It won't. It will be here always. You will have to fight it just like I'm doing it. So yeah, let's wait and see how if price goes here or just reject from the lower quadrant. Price came up, hit this order block beautifully at the lower quadrant. I need more confirmation. I want to see a fair value gap here though. That will fail, okay. Then I will take a trade using the fair value gap as an inversion. I don't see any fair value gap here other than this one. If price is coming down, right, closing candles body below, and if I'm selling from this inversion, right, will it give me a good risk to reward ratio? Suppose I entered here, somewhere here, stop loss above this inversion. Can I target 2R? Is it logical? It seems logical to me, as we have relative equal lows down here. I'm not looking at the chat window, by the way. I'm just focusing on chart. And we are inside of our macro. Do we have any other news today? Let's see. We are on Thursday at 8:30. Okay, at 8:30 we have news, and what I believe, the news will hunt sell side liquidity rather than providing buy side. So I'm expecting to see a run here. To be honest, I don't see any breaker block that I can execute on Dow. No. On 3-minute on Dow, no. I do see a bullish breaker block, but I will not take a part in that. Why? Because I also do see relative equal lows here. If I take a part in here, it will be a low probability trade for me, so I won't do that. On Dow, I'm looking at 3-minute chart, and you can see that at below like 33,482, we do have relative equal lows. I don't see any trade idea though on Dow. On ES, let's look at ES. Yes, same. I'm calling the market on sell side on both pairs, Dow and Nasdaq. So let's see what happens. And on dollar, okay, I didn't talk about dollar today, right? On dollar, in dollar, what do I see in dollar? On dollar, I do see price hitting a 50-minute fair value gap. So if dollar is dropping, indices will go up, right? But here I do see relative equal lows. So it's just contradicting my idea, my analysis. On dollar, if you look at 50-minute chart, you will see a unfilled fair value gap in discount, and price just came up, okay, and hit this 50-minute fair value gap CB, and it's rejecting from it beautifully. So you can expect to see a run on sell side on dollar too, on indices too. So let's see what that do. It's 8:30. Wow, It just moved towards the buy side liquidity. Yeah, it's not manipulating, rather it's respecting dollar. I expected a run on sell side liquidity on dollar, right? And it's dumping. As you can see, if you look at dollar, you can see an unfilled fair value gap on 50-minute chart at 101,634. Okay, so that's the target. And on Nasdaq, my analysis was wrong. Okay, I was expecting to see a run on sell side liquidity, but a run on buy side liquidity happened first. That's a good thing. We can target sell side liquidity right now. These relative equal lows, okay, these are untouched by price, so we can target it. Wow, today PMI is looking crazy. This movement, I don't usually see this kind of movement in PMI. Rather, like a clean movement happens, but here today is a very aggressive. It was a very aggressive move plus aggressive retracement. So this candle on 5-minute chart is not closed yet. That's the reason I will not use this candle's wick. Do I see a breaker block here on Dow? Do I see it? Do I see a breaker block on Dow? I don't. Okay, I do see a breaker block on Dow though. On Dow, that's the breaker block, but these down close candles, okay, higher high, new higher high that hit the premium PDRA. So that's the breaker block on Dow. And do we have a target? We do have these relative equal lows, right? And I'll put the Nasdaq on 1-minute chart. What just happened? Okay, I'll put the Nasdaq on 1-minute chart here. And on Nasdaq, I do see breaker block here. Higher high, new higher high. So which one should I consider? These down close candles or these down close candles? I think if I consider this one, right, that's a higher high, new higher high. So yeah, I'll consider this one. These down close candles, this looks high probability to me. These down close candles, so I want to see a candle's body closure below here, below these down close candles, and then we can target these relative equal lows. I'm waiting for a candle's body closure below the breaker block, okay, and then a small retracement to the breaker block again, and then I will execute. We still have 2 minutes before our macro ends. Pending order. Okay, on Nasdaq you can see that price came up. If I take the measurement into this week, right, price came up, hit the consequent encroachment of this week beautifully. So now we can expect to see a rejection in both pairs that will hunt sell side liquidity. So that's what I'm expecting to see. Price is just chopping here. So much consolidation. So this candle, I think it will close below this Yeah, so let's wait and see at this candle how it reacts. No chance of entry anyway. I'm targeting this low here. I want to see price coming down and going below these lows. Okay. Did anyone push the button here? On Nasdaq, you can see that price came down, closed the candle's body below. So on Nasdaq, I do believe that price will hunt relative equal lows. Okay, and we can take this trade, right? Okay, let's see what Nasdaq gonna do. Position, execution, stop loss somewhere above here. Target below this low. Okay, why my orders are not showing? Okay, wow, that was really quick. Do you guys saw it? My price came down at this candle, right? I executed here, it just hit my stop loss before even I pushed the button on my live fund. Really nice. So that's a nice loss. With a blink of an eye, price just closed my position here. Anyway, on Dow it's looking good. Right, on Dow I believe we can hunt relative equal lows. So on Dow, I'm in a trade in my live funds on Dow with a stop loss above this breaker block. Okay, and I'm expecting to see a run on sell side liquidity. That price generated right now. This low right here, I'm expecting to see a run. So the trade idea on Dow will be something like this. Let me show it to you all on 7 contracts. Okay, something like this. Stop loss here. TP will be 2R on Dow though. And 2R seems like coming here. Yeah, perfect. The level of partial will be here. Okay, on Nasdaq it looks choppy. I took a trade on demo and it came out to be a loss, right? Before I pushed the button on my live funds, it just happened. But on Dow, I'm in this trade on my live funds. I took this trade. Let's see what happens with a risk of 24 tick. And target is 47 tick. Partial will be below here, so let's see what happens. A loss is just a part of business, and yeah, this loss gave me experience though. Let's talk about this loss. Okay, what I did wrong in this trade, I should have waited to see this candle behave. Okay, this candle to react. Rather than that, I pushed the button early. I became impulsive. Okay, so that's the thing I did wrong. I should have waited to see this candle coming up and hitting this breaker block or rejecting towards the sell side. It didn't happen. Okay, and I pushed the button early somewhere here. And on Dow, you can see I think this one will also be lost, right? Anyway, our stop loss is in the same safe side here, and these are the down close candles. So I think it's not happening today, right? Will it drop? Let's look at the higher time frame. I think a drop is possible. Yeah, on Dow it looks cleaner to me compared to the Nasdaq. On 3-minute though, it makes more sense. Do you guys see this order block? So price respected this order block at this candle, and now it's coming up. And we do have this breaker block on 1-minute chart. Price came up again, hitting this breaker block. So yeah, let's wait and see how price behaves, and I'll move my stop loss above this candle and my TP to R as always, like this. A partial will be below here. Okay, let's see if it gives us a partial or not. Below this low. No, Nasdaq is not looking good to me today. Look, Nasdaq here is chopping around this breaker block. This is the whole breaker block, this is the whole fractal, and where is price right now? Inside this breaker block. What is dollar doing? On dollar, I do see price still dropping to this fair value gap. That's what I don't like, okay? Dollar is manipulating, and if you guys look at dollar, I do see a fair value gap at 101.742. So before it drops to this fair value gap that I talked about on 15-minute chart, the BC, I'm expecting a run on dollar at 101.742 first. So if that happens, this trade on Dow will give us a partial. Maybe it can hit our TP, but I'm expecting to see it at least giving us a partial though. So okay, let's look at Dow. Okay, let's show it to you guys. Sorry, the dollar chart. Yeah, this is the fair value gap that I'm talking about, but on 5-minute chart, do you guys see it? So I'm expecting to see a run into this fair value gap and then a drop into this 50-minute fair value gap, this BC, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And if it does comes up here, okay, the dollar, if it's coming up here on Dow, we can expect to see price giving us a partial. So that's the whole analysis paired with Dow paired with dollar and Dow. And it's a choppy price action. Price is in a high resistance liquidity run here, right? And I do see a fair value gap. I want to see this fair value gap supporting price towards the sell side. That's the CB. It's here to do that, to support price towards the sell side. That was our breaker block. So I'll just ignore NAS for now, and I'll put the chart here on dollar. I'm on 3-minute chart on dollar. I'm expecting to see a run into this CB and then a drop into this fair value gap. So now that they're moving opposite to each other, right? That's the reason that I'm putting dollar chart here, because that way dollar gives a clean analysis. So that's what I'm expecting on dollar. This 50-minute fair value gap is very much possible for a drop, this 50-minute fair value gap, and it comes into discount, okay? This will be here on dollar, this will be an optimal trade entry. I do see relative equal lows down here, but from this low to this high, or from this low to this high, if I measure it, let's see where the optimal trade and entry comes in. you can see that the optimal trade entry is coming inside this fair value gap. Okay, so I'm expecting to see a run on here, and on Dow price just gave us a partial, right? Beautiful trade, beautiful partial. And okay, I was supposed to take a partial below this low. I think it's still possible. Power price. Okay, I'll take one contract off here, another partial, and our 2R trade is here. Okay, partial was here, then another partial was here, 2 partial. We can move our stop loss now in entry. Nasdaq compared to Dow is looking way more choppier, so I'll just ignore Nasdaq for now. I'll focus on Dow. ES is looking choppy to me, but it's delivering towards the sell side as I expected. The relative equal lows that is on 41.44. That will be the draw on liquidity. So now that dollar is dropping, okay, we can expect to see a run on Dow towards the buy side. So yeah, we can, this stop loss can get hit, so I'll just move the stop loss above this fair value gap. That's a fair value gap. Do you guys see it on Dow? That's a CB. Let me hide this thing right here. Let me hide my positions, orders. Okay, I just want to look at chart clearly. So that's the CB. Okay, that's a IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill. Why it is a IOFED? Because price just came into this fair value gap, tapped into it, and now it's dropping. So when price does that, okay, you should know that's the IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill. So I'm not expecting to see price coming up and going above this fair value gap and hitting this breaker block. If it does that, we are wrong. It will hunt buy side liquidity. So that's the reason I put my stop loss here. Okay, now I'm gonna look at the chat window. I was so deep inside these charts today, so I didn't look into the chat. Sorry for that. Now I will. And what are you guys talking about? Do not forget to check Dixie. I forgot. Sorry for that. But I did talk about dollar now, right? And you can see that my dollar is respecting my analysis. I wanted to see a drop. And on Dow, if it's hitting our TP, that's good. If not, we already took 2 partial. No loss, okay? So that's the magic. That's the good thing. My favorite model, breaker block, mine too. News are coming. News already hit. Please explain mitigation block, please. You can find it easily on my mentor's channel. I see Dow breaker on 50-minute. I don't see it. Where? On 50-minute, where breaker? This one. This is not a breaker. This is the breaker. Okay, price, if you are looking into it like this, that's the breaker. These down close candles, higher high, new higher high. I will not consider this higher high, okay? Live is lagging or your data lags? Nothing is lagging here. What lagging? There's no lagging here. So what I'm gonna do, rather than hoping to see this price action coming down and hitting my TP, I can close this trade. Right? In profit, so orders, position. Now the dollar is dropping very, it's very likely for Dow to come up, clear out relative equal highs here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this trade now that it gave us two partial, and we are inside of a zone that I consider a manipulation. So I'm not hoping. I do see dollar clearly dropping into this fair value gap. This is gonna be our optimal trade entry level here. Okay, do you guys know when I'm talking about the optimal trade entry? Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? If not, you can ask me in question. I'll explain a little bit better. So this trade is closed. I did got like two partial even on my live funds. I did took this trade on demo too. I'm using like the Funded Next demo account, their challenge. And yeah, this trade beautifully came out, gave us two partial. Dixie activated breaker block during macro. What breaker block? This right here. Yeah, I do see a breaker block here on dollar, but anyway, I'm expecting a run on sell side liquidity at this fair value gap, right on 15-minute fair value gap. So done for today. A lot of you are already done for today. I think you guys took this trade with me, right? CN is saying, I missed the start of the stream. Can you explain the breaker block placement you have currently on NAS? On NAS, I'm just ignoring NAS today. NAS looks choppy to me, so no breaker block. Nothing. Look at the consolidation here. It's good that price just hit my stop loss on demo before me pushing the button on live funds. Right, I pushed the button here. Somewhere here, then price came up, stop loss was here, it hit it, but on Dow it's looking clean, and if you are still in this trade, I think it will hit your TP. Right now that look at dollar, okay, from this now when price hit this 3-minute fair value gap, the 3-minute CB, I expected to see a run into this fair value gap aggressively, but dollar didn't did that. Dollar is just coming up and it's providing us profit. Okay, some of you didn't close the trade, so yeah, you are generating profit. If you are taking a partial here, that would be good. If not, you can just let this trade hit your TP at 2R. The reason I closed this trade early because of dollar. The analysis that I did on dollar. I meant Dow. This is for Dow. Thanks. Hey HYDRA, just been able to join you on YouTube and pleased to report I took the same short trade independently today. Nice. Nice, Jason. You did very well. It's easy, right? See, you are learning. And after some time, trust me, like after 1 or 2 months, you won't need to come in my live stream and watch like how I'm outlining a breaker block. You can do it better than me. Okay, trust me, if you put the work in, and I think you are putting the work now that you saw a breaker block and executed independently without seeing me as a signal. That's good. Congrats to you, Jason. I'm expecting to see you in future, okay, making profits, consistently profit with this breaker block strategy. Stick with it, and in future, yeah, you will get there. Alexander is saying Dow could hunt fair value gap at 33,280. 33,280. Where is it? Where is that? I think you were on higher time frame, right, bro? 33,283. Wow, you are looking a lot down. This one, this inversion, you are talking about this inversion. I'm expecting for a reversal, okay? I'm looking for a reversal from this inversion. So if price is not respecting this inversion, okay, Alexander, then we can look for a setup that will hunt these lows, these relative equal lows, and ultimately, as you were talking, this inversion. But first, price will have to fail from this BPR, okay, go below this BPR, not respecting this BPR. Still, I'm expecting to see price respecting this BPR, and if I was not closing this trade, okay, early, I think our TP is here, somewhere here, 33,460, right? Our TP was somewhere here, but from my experience, okay, that's what my experience told me, to close it rather than hoping, because it's the same price action, okay, the price, it repeats, the same price action repeats again and again. I saw dollar doing the same thing, coming up, hitting a fair value gap CB, then dropping to another fair value gap, and in indices, price just coming up, right, and hitting my stop loss. So today I didn't give a price a chance to hit my stop loss. Rather, I took two partial here. I already made like around, how much did I made? Around like $600 with these two partial. I executed here at this candle, okay? I saw it before I pushed the button in front of you here. I pushed the button on my live funds, and my execution was somewhere here. And I executed again at this retracement here. So I took a part, I closed the second position here, so I got like $300 here, and another partial that I took below this low, and I closed it. I made my ends meet for today. I already made, this week is the like one of the best week for me this year. I'm like in huge profit this week. And price just hit our TP here, right? We were targeting somewhere here to our trade. If you guys remember, I think the trade was somewhere here. Let me put the execution back again. So my execution was here, right? And our TP, our stop loss was somewhere here, and I think it wasn't like this. Our stop loss wasn't this big. I don't remember. Anyway, forget about it. So our TP was somewhere here. I think it got hit right now. Do you guys want to see my live execution? If you want to see, say yes, I'll show it to you. What's happening with my OBS? Anyway, sorry for that. So my trade, I'll show you guys the trade. Okay, even if you're like holding this trade and it would have gave you like a huge profit by now, right? I think if you are holding till down here, that would have been like a 3-hour trade. Scalp, why not? I wanna show it to you guys. So my execution was somewhere. So that was the execution, the first execution. If you look at here, that was the execution here. I entered here, stop loss above the breaker block, right? Above below the midway. Target was 2R. And I entered again, I guess. Yeah, I did enter it again. Here, I entered here first time. Second execution was here. Partial here below this low. Second partial was here. And I ultimately closed my trade here. Okay. So that was a beautiful trade to me. I got like 2 partial. I made my ends meet. So I'm happy. Let's wait for our 9:20 to 9:30 macro to play out. Alexander is saying if you look at 50-minute time frame, you will see the fair value gap. What fair value gap are you talking about on 50-minute chart? Which one? This BPR that I outlined on our hourly fair value gap. This BPR is getting failed right now. At 33,337, okay? At 50-minute chart, 33,337. Yeah, run into a fill up of this gap is possible, right, Alexander? Yeah, it's possible. Now that this BPR failed to hold price, the hourly BPR, this one. So yeah, I'm expecting to see a run into those fair value gap. So according to my execution, my trade was somewhere here, and to our target, we got partial here. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this trade. That was our internal sell side liquidity. On dollar is moving towards the buy side, so we can expect to see a run into sell side at 9:30 on dollar. So if we are expecting that on dollar, let's look at higher time frame on dollar. So our last line of defense, to expect to see a short, okay, that will target this fair value gap is here, this CB. This should send price towards the sell side. That's what I'm expecting to see. If this fair value gap is not holding dollar, then dollar will hunt buy side liquidity up here. Wow, Dow is dropping beautifully. Beautiful drop on Dow, as I expected, into this PPR. Now let's see from where Dow can reverse, from which fair value gap. I do see a fair value gap here, right? Or Dow, is Dow gonna be like moving towards the sell side aggressively? Do we have any higher time frame target? 3-hour chart. Okay, on 3-hour chart I do see a big wick. So if I measure the wick, the consequent encroachment of this wick will come somewhere here. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna measure this wick, candles wick, like this, and you can see that the consequent encroachment of this wick is here. .5%, and the lower quadrant is here. So these two zones, these two possible zones, I'm expecting to see a reversal on Dow from these two zones. And if I drop down to the hourly chart, right, I do see an order block here. On dollar, now the dollar is moving aggressively towards the buy side, okay, and I don't see any willingness on dollar to respect this fair value gap. Dollar took provided liquidity at this high, and let's see from where dollar rejects. There's a relative equal high here on dollar, 5-minute chart. Then we have this relative equal high here. So a possible zone for dollar to reverse is this fair value gap, and I do see a lot of relative equal lows here. Sorry, unfilled fair value gap, not relative equal lows, and then relative equal lows down here, somewhere around like 101,664. So we can target there. I'm expecting to see Dow providing buy side liquidity. So these two zones are our possible reversal zone on Dow. Are you guys looking at NQ? How is NQ looking? Let's look at NQ. Nasdaq is not looking that good, but it's providing sell side liquidity as I expected without giving us a setup to enter. Okay, I expected to see a setup at like 820 to 830. It didn't give us the setup, but it's providing sell side liquidity right now. If I take you on Nasdaq, do you guys see that? When I started my stream, I told you guys that I run into these relative equal lows, and then this fair value gap, sorry, this equal low is very much possible. That will be our target. We will short, but Nas didn't give me a target to chance to enter. So I'm just gonna wait right now until 9:20. I'll look at chart at 9:20 and see like how price is behaving. Then I'll answer some chat questions right now. If you guys have any question, you can ask me in the chat section. I'm looking at chat. So Dow is really clean today, right? Compared to other two charts, ES and NQ. Dow generated a breaker block, higher high, new higher high, right? So for a newbie won't see this breaker block here. Alexa is saying, do you ever use opening range in your analysis? I do. I do when price is near to the opening range, okay? Only that time I do use that. Other than that, what's the point of just talking about new week opening gap, new day opening gap, or opening range? Why? But I think you are talking about the 8:30 opening, 9:30 opening. No, I don't use that. CN is saying, was your earlier trade inside the macro? No, it wasn't inside the macro. Yeah, it was outside. I pushed the button here. So when I did right on my live funds, it was inside the macro 834. At 834 I pushed the button. At 834 I saw price activating this breaker block. So yeah, when I pushed the button in my live funds, it was inside the macro. But when I pushed the button in front of you at like around 837, it was outside of the macro, because price already activated the breaker block here. Okay, this is the breaker block. These down close candles that you see, higher high, new higher high. So breaker block here, right? You can see the price came down, close the candles body below here. My execution was somewhere here on my live funds. I executed in front of you somewhere here. So yeah, so that's the reason I most of the time avoid looking at dollar. You know, dollar likes to manipulate compared to other charts a lot. So the pattern trader, okay, they will see a breaker block here, lower low, new lower low. So these up close candles becomes a breaker block. So the newbies and the pattern trader, they will expect to see a run on buy side liquidity from this breaker block. They won't understand the logic that like price has unfilled fair value gap here and it generated relative equal low, then another unfilled fair value gap at discount. So don't be a pattern trader. How's that a breaker? Mr. Fact is asking, how's that a breaker? Don't you see the breaker here? Let me zoom in a little bit. Mr. Fact, he's not understanding it. That's the higher high, new higher high. That's the news movement, by the way. 8:30 news. It generated this big wick. This week took liquidity from this high. At the same time, this week hit the premium PD area here. Okay, or you can think of it as like this week hit the optimal trade entry. So these down close candles becomes our breaker block. You might not agree with me that that's the breaker block, but price did agree with me. Just as I explained the breaker block, price closing a candles body below, then a small retracement, everything happened. Price followed my breaker block rule and price proved to me, okay, Hydra, you are right. You outlined a correct breaker block that a lot of newbie won't understand. Okay, so I told you guys I'm expecting to see a reversal from the consequent encroachment of our 3-hour big wick. That's the big wick on 3-hour chart. I measured it in front of you, and I'm expecting to see a reversal from the consequent encroachment and the lower quadrant. Millionaire Ryan is saying, how much RR or percent you target monthly? It depends on the price action. If price is providing me a setup, I don't have a specific goal, okay? Like some people do have, like, I wanna get like 10R, 15R, 20R, 5R in a monthly basis. I don't. Whatever price presents to me, if I see a setup and that is clean, that is supporting my analysis, I'll take it. So yeah, my weekly goal is to get 4R. Okay, that's the goal every week, to get minimum 4R. If I'm not getting it, I can make my ends meet with 2R. I don't have a monthly goal, to be honest. Mr. Fact is saying it's an order block, not a breaker. Okay. Anything else, bro? So price came up into this fair value gap, CB, and then dropped. I'm not looking for any setup right now, to be honest. I do see relative equal highs here. Relative equal high here on 1 minute chart. If I take you guys on 5 minute chart, what can we target, right? At 920 to 930 at Judas. I want to take part in that Judas. So where can we target? I do see relative equal high here. Let's look at the higher time frame. Relative equal high, but I won't be targeting up here, right? For that long, I will only look for a trade that will give me 2R or 4R. So let's look for that. To be honest, I need more confirmation. Right now, I don't see anything that will provide me a clean setup. I'm expecting to see a run on buy side liquidity at 920 to 930. And on dollar, what I do see is a run into these relative equal highs. It's very much possible at these highs. If price is doing that, we can expect to see price reversing after taking out this relative equal high and a run into buy side liquidity on Dow. Well, let's look at chat. Mr. Fact is saying, I just wanted to correct you. You are not correcting me, and I don't want to get corrected by you. Who are you, Mr. Fact? No one. No one cares what you are saying. So before I block you, will you just leave, or you want to get humiliated and then leave? You can do that. Both ways is available. Jemmy is saying, that's my favorite because every day we come and do the same thing and my overthinking brain loves that, lol. Yeah, it's the same thing that I do every single day. Just drawing a couple of lines, building a narrative, then looking for a trade. That's it. With one setup. I do, when I'm trading personally, I do take trades with other models like inversion, like fair value gap. But when I'm trading in front of you guys, I only look for breaker block. And if I do see other setup that is clean, I will of course mention. But those setup, right, the setups that I take other than breaker block happens after I close my stream. So today we will also look for silver bullet. Okay, at 10 to 11. We'll look for that. Thomas is saying, before your breaker block video, I never understood the fundamental difference between order block and the breaker block. Order block provides support in the opposite direction of it closed. Breaker blocks support same direction of it closed. Okay, but in breaker block, we look for a breaker block gets generated once price does a stop hunt. Okay, without a stop hunt, that's not a breaker block, it's an order block. What Mr. Fact is saying, these down close candles are not breaker block, rather he's saying it's an order block, and he cannot explain why it's an order block, right? To me, that's the way I see it, as a breaker block, and I execute it accordingly in front of you. Mr. Fact is a bullshit, a retail trader, so I'm just gonna block him. And yeah, it's good to come to a stranger's live stream and then getting blocked, right, Mr. Fact? Is it feeling good now? Anyway, price came down into this consequent encroachment of that 3-hour week. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, that's a breaker block that I see again. But I'll not take a trade using this breaker block. Why? Because I want to see more confirmation. Okay, I do see price came down into this 3-hour week, in this consequent encroachment of this 3-hour week, and from here I'm expecting to see a reversal, but I need more confirmation. Dollar took liquidity from this buy side here, 101,942, and it's good that it happened before our before the 9:30 opening. Okay, we can expect to see a run into sell side liquidity on on dollar first. So if that's happening, we can expect to see a run on buy side liquidity on Dow. And that's the breaker block, lower low, new lower low. I'm on 1 minute chart. Let's see if we have a clean breaker block on higher time frame. We don't have that. Okay, on 3 minute chart, to me, when I'm taking a trade, I consider 3 minute and 5 minute as my higher time frame for my trade ideas. For my narrative, for my trade narrative, I build that from the 4-hour hourly chart, where price is most likely to go. But when I'm executing, I look at 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute. Okay, that's the higher time frame for me. And on 3 minute chart, I do see price generated CB here, and now price is respecting. If price wanna support my analysis that I'm looking for, run into buy side liquidity, I wanna see this CB not holding price. Okay, rather this CB is failing, and to do so, that's our lower low, right? So I'm gonna mark it, that's where the stop hunt happened, and new lower low right here, and we are inside our macro. Look at the time, 9:20 to 9:30. That's where we look for a trade idea and we take part in that Judas move. So that's our new lower low. So these up close candles becomes our breaker block. That's not order block, by the way. So I'm gonna wait for more confirmation. I do see price respecting this. What is this? A order block. Okay, so I got like 2 confirmation. Price is in a discount zone. Price hit the consequent encroachment of 3-hour wick, and then price generated a breaker block inside this consequent encroachment. And also look at dollar. Look at dollar. I want to see dollar dropping. Okay, I do see relative equal lows here. So on 5 minute chart on dollar, we can target this fair value gap. So I want to see dollar Dow getting heavy towards the buy side. $9.25. Let's see if price confirm us that it wanna remain heavy towards the buy side liquidity. Where can we take a partial? We can take a partial here, right at this high. Or we can close our trade here though, because that will be a 2-hour trade. I want to see this candle closing its body above this breaker block, and this candle dropping down a little bit more, and then going towards the buy side. Okay, it's looking good to me. I mean, let's see what happens. Stop loss below here, TP here. I think that's a 2-hour right already. Execution here, down here. It's not a 2-hour, so we'll take a partial here and we'll target for 2-hour. That will be somewhere here. I think we can target 2-hour. Okay, at 9:30 we expect to see a lot of volatility coming in, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, if you are not confident and if you are not willing to risk the money, then you better not take this trade. If it's not supporting your analysis, don't use me as a signal. Me, if I take this loss, okay, it won't affect me. It's nothing for me. It's a part of business. But if you are taking a loss here, it will blow your account. Why? Oh my god, you guys are going heavy in chat. A lot of chat. Thomas is saying, okay. A lot of people are typing a lot of things. Trading Metaphorsis is saying, why come to someone's live stream and act like a smartass? Because they have nothing else to do. They're not profitable. So yeah, they have to pass their time by doing something, right? So that's what they find reasonable to do. It's not a good day without a HYDRA block. Thomas is saying, yes, I understand, but a green order block supports downside once it sits from below. A red breaker block support downside after it's activated from below after stop hunt. Do you consider 5-day ADR? We are right in that YM now. I don't. What I consider, I'm talking about that in front of you here. And it has reached the optimal trade entry as well. Okay, it might. Okay, I don't use optimal trade entry that much. John Williams is saying, inversion fair value gap working nice on gold. Been testing a few models on gold. Okay, it works. It works beautifully if you can build the narrative for it. Any concept, okay, any ICT concept will work really good for you. Do you think we'll start going down, reversing from the start of the week? I don't know. Mr. Fact and Thomas Break are chat leader. Yeah, they are. They're my premium members. They deserve to be the leader, and they're focusing into my trading. Okay, there's another guy named Sheikh Ghazi. Okay, so if you are like telling me to give them a level, I'll give Sheikh Ghazi. I'll put Sheikh Ghazi above everyone, because what I see and what I saw in him is that he is improving really fast. Again, every time he asks me a question, it's a reasonable question that me, if I was watching someone's streams like that, I will ask those questions. Every question, I like every one of his question. So yeah. Dollar, I want to see dollar dropping. We have 1 minute before the Judas move happens. Okay, and price gave us a confirmation, like price hit the consequent encroachment, generated breaker block inside the discount, then hit this order block. Okay, so I'll take a partial at this fair value gap, right here. That will be a zone for me to consider a partial. Will price give me a chance to take a partial, or it's just gonna hit my stop loss? Let's see. I do have 8 contract. I'll take off like 3. Wow, it hit my stop loss. Nice. So if you guys are in this trade, you can close it right now as it just went below this breaker block, right? Before I take a partial, it just dropped. I wanted to see price coming up here and then dropping, at least giving me a partial. Okay, this drop was aggressive, beautiful drop, right? My stop loss was reasonable below here. Suppose if I was hoping and putting my stop loss below here, then I would have taken a big loss, which some of you will. So nice, it's dropping real hard. And where is it going? Where is it going? Let's look for that. These relative equal lows, right? Inside this inversion that Alexander mentioned to us. So in that regard, Alexander, you were right. Like prices coming into this inversion, I was expecting to see price coming here, but I was also expecting to see a reversal from the continuing encroachment. It didn't happen. So loss is a part of business, okay? That's a business. It's not like you will win every single day, every single time. We will take loss, but it doesn't affect us, does it? We follow risk management. Anyway, so that's the inversion. Let's see if price respecting this inversion or not. It's 9:32. We have our another macro. So basically I'm done for today trading. I got 2 partial, took a loss, so I'm like in break even today. So for me, I'll not push any button on my live funds, but I will continue to do tape reading and pushing button on my demo accounts. That's how I do it. If I'm taking 2 wins, I'm getting done. If I'm taking 2 losses in a day, I'm getting done. I really don't care what happens after that. And where's our sell side liquidity? Our sell side liquidity is below this low. Okay, so let's talk about this loss. We should not avoid losses, okay? Because from my losses, that's from where I learned most why this loss happened and what I did wrong. Let's look for that. What did I did wrong? There was a fair value gap, okay? Price respected this fair value gap, and based on the measurement from this high to this low, our optimal trade entry zone comes in here. Also the 3-hour week, right? 3-hour big week, price showed us that it was rejecting from the consequent encroachment. So what did I did wrong here? I saw relative equal high here, and relative equal high versus a strong magnet. Price didn't even came up and hit this fair value gap though. Did it hit on 3 minute? No, it didn't. So what did I did wrong? Just the breaker block that I outlined. Okay, I didn't told you once price closed against this body to enter. There was more confirmation. Price respected this order block. This black candle that you see, price respected this beautifully, and it was on discount. So I'll consider it as a loss, okay? Rather than, I don't see anything that I can learn from this loss rather than just a manipulation here. Anyway, I was wrong. Chart is never wrong. Price is never wrong. Price is always right. I did something wrong and I took this loss. Anyway, it's not affecting me. I told you guys, if I take a loss, I'm risking 0.5%. When I'm taking a partial, I'm gaining like 0.5%. When I take 2 partial, I'm making like 1% of my total capital. If price is hitting 2R, I'm making like 1.5%, 2%. So yeah, I only lost like 0.5% of my account. That doesn't bother me at all. I'll continue to do tape reading, and I'll look for a silver bullet trade at 10 to 11 a.m. Price provided liquidity below this low on 50-minute chart. I want to see where is it going. Why is it not giving me a clean analysis? I'm hearing my mentor in my ears. It's like, you will not have a clean analysis every single day. You will not become an algo every single day. Why am I hearing his noise? Why he is inside my head? So that's the low, that's the relative equal lows, and it's very much possible for price to come down and take out this relative equal lows here. Price didn't respect this inversion, by the way. So Alexander, your drawn liquidity at this inversion was right, but if you were like expecting a rejection from this inversion, you weren't right in that regard, just like me. Let's look at Nasdaq, okay? I'm just ignoring Nasdaq. What is Nasdaq doing? I want to see what happened at Nasdaq at 8:30. And 9:30, both of, sorry, at 9:30. I want to see what happened at Nasdaq at 9:30. All right, so Nasdaq, that's where I did wrong, okay? Now I found out like what I did wrong, why I took this loss. I was ignoring Nasdaq and I forgot about this relative equal low right here. Price didn't took it before the 9:30. I was looking at dollar and I was looking at Dow, and I forgot about looking at Nasdaq. Nasdaq had these relative equal lows clean before 9:30, okay? And you can see that at 9:30 Nasdaq beautifully took this relative equal low. Before 9:30 Nasdaq generated lows like this, liquidity level, strong liquidity level, relative equal lows right here, right here, right here. So all of these relative equal lows are paired with this main low right here. So that's where I did wrong. I should have looked at like Nasdaq and see like if price provided liquidity below here or not. And also Nasdaq had an hourly fair value gap. When I started my stream, I told you guys that that will be our draw on liquidity on Nasdaq. Do you guys remember? So that's where I did wrong today. I forgot about that thing. I was expecting a drop here, but at 8:30 I was ignoring Nasdaq. Anyway, I'll consider it as a mistake. I learned from it. What did I learn from it? I learned from not to forget about Nasdaq and look at Nasdaq. I learned to look at Nasdaq at 9:30 and other pairs and see like if there's any liquidity level, strong liquidity level like this relative equal low that is visible on 5-minute chart, right? Price generated relative equal lows before 9:30. So if I was looking at Nasdaq, I would have like told you guys, look at the drawn liquidity is on sell side because it's obvious. Look at the lows here. Okay, so I finally found out that's what I did wrong. I'll take a screenshot of this. I'll put it in my journal. That's how we learn, okay? We learn from the loss. We basically don't learn from the win. If you're winning a trade, your analysis is already right. That's the reason you're winning, or you are getting lucky. When you are losing, that's the time we should focus on why did I lost. And I know it's hard to talk about. When I started my journey, I was scared to even look at my loss. Okay, I never considered to look at loss, but after some time when I heard my mentors telling me that, okay, you should look at loss, you should analyze why you took that loss. And I started doing that, and I found out like, okay, that's where I made mistake, just like I did today. Let me take a screenshot of this. It will be beneficial for me in the long run, okay? I was right in my analysis on Nasdaq, so that feels good to see. I was wrong in that regard by not looking at Nasdaq before 9:30. Okay, I was so focused on looking for a trade, so that's what I should not do in future. It's easy to say, okay, but these emotions keeps coming back inside me again and again, inside us. So yeah. So now what can we expect at our 10 to 11 silver bullet zone? What can we expect? I want to see from where price can reverse. On Dow, I don't actually have a clean analysis, but on Nasdaq, I do have a clean analysis on Nasdaq. So I'll focus on Nasdaq at silver bullet. I'll keep both charts together. And on Nasdaq, you can see price came down. It did hit our hourly fair value gap, right? It provided liquidity towards the sell side a couple of times, so it's efficient in sell side right now. And now the dollar is Nas is rejecting from this hourly fair value gap. Will it come back to this fair value gap again? That's the question I'm asking to myself, and I'm looking for that answer. Will it come back and revisit this fair value gap again at 10 to 11? I do see a low here on 50-minute chart. That's a low, and I do see this daily order block. That's the body of the daily order block though. If you go onto your daily chart on NAS, you will find the order block here. It's visible on daily chart, and beautiful rejection towards the buy side, to be honest. But if price just came down and like tapping into this fair value gap, that would have gave me a clean analysis, but price didn't did that. Rather, it generated relative equal low again. So let's see if price is providing liquidity towards the buy side before it drops. I don't see any relative equal high. Rather than I only do see this equal high here. And where is our discount? From this low to the high, our discount, premium is coming up here, right? So I'll consider this order block for reversal, and we are inside of this fair value gap. This CB right here, I'm talking about 950 to 1010 macro, by the way. If I don't see a setup at 950 to 1010 macro, then I will wait for the silver bullet to get activated. It gets activated from my experience. I saw it getting activated around like 10:30, 10:20 to 10:30. That's when a fair value gap gets hit. So let's wait for that to see. So about the silver bullet, okay, I'm telling you that around 10:20 to 10:30 a fair value gap forms and price hit that. It's not a high probability analysis from my side, because I only looked at like silver bullet for like last couple of days, and for last couple of days, that's what I saw. It's not a long-term journaling analysis. No, it's not that. So I only found out that at inside 10:20 to 10:30, that's when a silver bullet fair value gap gets activated from my view. Okay, it's not a high probability view. So okay, I do see relative equal lows on Dow. These relative equal lows here. What is dollar doing? Wow, dollar is just moving aggressively towards the buy side. Really? On dollar, a possible reversal, I'm expecting for a reversal from 102.099, because that's a fair value gap that I see here on hourly chart. That's a big fair value gap. That's a CB. So let's see if dollar is rejecting from there. I was expecting a round on buy side liquidity, but from that 50-minute unfilled fair value gap, it didn't happen. If I measured this gap on US100, the consequent, the midway of this gap will come somewhere here. So there's no breaker block right now. And we are not even inside our macro. It's 9:46. Okay, NGC Games is asking me like, do you always enter full risk or you split your risk in multiple position? If I'm entering the first position, I enter with 0.5% risk, and at the second position it's like around 0.25%, 0.3%, 0.4%, lower than 0.5%, okay, every single time. And I do use the second position as a partial. And if the price action is good, I just let the first position run to my TP rather than taking any partial at my first position. I do take partial at the second position, so it generates me more profits, okay? It depends on the price action. I think the market is in Judah swing right now, then go up to become outside on daily. I don't know. Let's see, are we near to any new week or new day opening gap on Dow? I do see a new week opening gap here. So price respected this 3-minute fair value gap, right? On Nasdaq. So price cleared out this really typical low on Dow. Where is it going right now? We do have this low, this major level of sell side liquidity here, which is also inside this fair value gap, right? And we do have a new day opening gap. I think it's a new day opening gap. Let's see. Yeah, it's a new day opening gap right here. So I'm expecting to see a reversal from this fair value gap after price takes out this low right here. A lot of you are complaining about Apex Ninja Trader. Why is it that bad today? Yeah, I will tape read till the silver bullet gets over. So I'll be here for 1 more hour. So Nasdaq looking good. So imagine we holded this trade here, right? We executed here, from this using this breaker block. And imagine we are holding this trade, it would have been like a more than 30-hour trade by now, or 20-hour, right? Anyway, that's what a noob will think. On Nasdaq, price did took out this low here, and it's also hitting this 50-minute fair value gap. So let's see if it reverses or not. And on Dow, right, this blue line that you see, that's our swing low. Price just took it, and this swing low is inside our fair value gap, 50-minute fair value gap that I showed to you guys. If I take you guys back again, this is the fair value gap that I'm talking about. It's in discount, and it's also coming with a low, a swing low. Okay, price took it, price did hit the fair value gap. So now let's look for a setup. And on NQ, price also provided major level of sell side liquidity. It did hit fair value gap, filled, unfilled fair value gap. So we can expect to see a run on buy side liquidity, can't we? We can, very likely. It's 9:52. We are inside of our macro. And in macro, what do we expect to see? A breaker block to get generated. Do you guys see a breaker block here? Lower low, new lower low. So these up close candles becomes our breaker block. It's not an order block, by the way. So let's see if price closes the candle body above here. Do we have target? Okay, we are not a pattern trader. We always look for a target before looking for a setup. Do we have target? Do we have unfilled fair value gap above? We do have relative equal highs here, so we can target that on 1 minute chart. Price is still dropping towards the sell side. I think it will not give us a chance to enter. And right, we do have a breaker block here on Nasdaq though. There's a breaker block. Do you guys see it? It's from higher time frame, so I'll have to take you guys on the higher time frame. I think it was from the hourly chart. Yes. Do you guys see it? Lower low, new lower low. So this up close candle becomes our breaker block. Price came up, closed the candle body above, respected this breaker block, right? I think there was some news movement yesterday, right? Yesterday we had CPI, so you can see the price respected this breaker block, and it provided buy side liquidity. So that will be my last line of defense to expect to see a run on buy side liquidity. If price is not stopping after coming down here, if it does comes down here, if it's not stopping, we can expect to see price providing more sell side liquidity. Idris is saying, I know it sounds like a stupid question, but maybe it's a learning process. I personally don't have a narrative yet why I should expect price to reverse. Why are you asking me that question, or you are looking for that answer? If you are asking me that question, I can answer it. Dale C is saying, lost my rhythmic connection. Anyone else? Sajal Agarwai is saying SMT in Dow. SMT with Dow? I don't see SMT with Dow. I don't see any SMT. They both made lower low right here. Lower low. Is it SMT with ES? No, it's not. They all made lower lows. And we have a new day opening gap right here. On Nasdaq, what do we have? On Nasdaq, we are not near to any new week opening gap. We do have a new week opening gap here at 13,251, which is below the breaker block, by the way. David is saying Dow looks like it will go for May 4th low at 12 p.m. 1 hour if bearish price action continues. May 4th low, yeah, it can possibly do that. But look at this drop. This drop was really aggressive. Right from here, I expected this drop from this high probability target. If you watched my stream since the beginning, before this drop happened, I told you guys that I'm expecting to see price coming up here, hitting this high probability target. What is this high probability target? That's the inversion, okay? On 50-minute chart, before any of this thing happened. So I was correct in my narrative, but anyway. So in my narrative, in my bias, I was correct. I was looking for shorts, and price did that, and I got like one trade that gave me 2 partial. And on Nasdaq, look at Nasdaq, lower low, new lower low. Ignore all the price action that price did here. I'm still expecting to see price closing a candles body above this breaker block. So at 9:50 to 10:10 macro, we don't actually have any setup in front of us. Joey is saying nothing pisses me off more than missing a trade that I know I would have taken. Why? Why you get pissed? Me, I missed so many trades in life. I never cared about it because every day there will be a setup, and that's what I know. Every day price will present me a setup that I can take. So why just get FOMO? Mike is saying, check my comment a long time ago, told you a new week opening gap. You talked about this new week opening gap on Dow. Good, well done. Scliff N22 is saying, someone explain what ICT was saying about 5-minute fair value gap at 13,400 per price. ICT is giving signals. Let's see. So Dow filled this gap, the gap that I outlined in front of you on 50-minute chart. And yeah, do we have any other strong liquidity below us? No. So I'll just measure this swing high, this fractal in price from this high, just the swing high, to this low. I think the optimal trade entry will come somewhere between here. Yeah, we are inside of 0.62 and 0.79 zone, but price is consolidating. Look at that. Look at the consolidation, choppiness on Nasdaq, right? It's not a good day to force a trade idea. Look for a trade idea. I want to see price getting out of this zone, okay, where price is consolidating right now. I want to see is getting out of it. And we are inside of our silver bullet, 10 to 11. That's when we look for a setup that will hit a fair value gap, and then it will like drop or go towards the moon. So let's look for that. And I told you guys to be specific in silver bullet, 1020 to 1030. That's the time price activates the break, the fair value gap that we look for in silver bullet zone, okay? I don't see any fair value gap here, but I do see a lot of order blocks. A run into this unfilled candle, unfilled fair value gap is possible, right? If I look at daily chart, right, if I'm now that I'm looking at the daily chart, it makes more sense to me for price to come down, take out this candle slow, and rejecting from somewhere around this week. To be honest, this price action is delivering aggressively towards the sell side, okay? That's where I don't have an edge. I don't have an edge in trending market. I have an edge in zigzag market, okay? Suppose price is delivering towards the sell side, then coming back up, hitting the premium zone, then dropping, then is coming back up into the premium, then dropping. So that's the price action that I have an edge. That's where I can execute best, and that's when I can analyze the market best. In a trending market like this, okay, it takes a lot of time for price to reverse or go into like a premium zone from discount. Price is now in a discount zone, so we'll have to wait for that time to match. And I do see price provided a major level of liquidity right here below these lows, and then these lows right here. And it's inside this between the fair value gap that I mentioned. Below this fair value gap, we do have relative equal lows. And do you guys see this breaker block here? Low, new lower low. So these up close candles becomes our breaker block. So I'll just outline it and move it towards the current time. Extend right. And if we are taking a trade that will hunt buy side liquidity, okay, where can we target? I don't see a target. That's the problem. Where can I target? If I don't see a target, there's no point for me to take a trade. I do see this inversion fair value gap where price can reach up to. Okay, so I'll just mark it 15-minute inversion. 15-minute. And from this swing high to this low, our premium zone will be somewhere here. So it's below the premium, okay? So that makes it a high probability target. Price, I'm expecting to see price at least coming up here. It can reject from this order block right here, but a run into this inversion will make sense for me. If I talk a little bit more about the confirmation, I'll have to take you guys on the 4-hour chart. If I measure this gap, okay, from this candle's low, this candle is not closed yet. So if I measure this whole candle, that's how I do it. When I'm looking at the higher time frame and when price is like a big gap and the next candle that opened is not closed yet, what I do, I measure the candle from the body, from the high of the body to the low of the body, and then I use the anatomy like this. So our lower quadrant, okay, of this measurement of this candle's body, I'm basically measuring the volume inside these candles. Okay, where is the most of the volume according to the measurement of this big candle? The lower quadrant comes here, 0.75. Sorry, the 0.25 will be here. Yeah, so the lower quadrant is coming here, 0.25. The midway is here. So our target, okay, the inversion that I outlined from 15-minute chart, is below the lower quadrant. So that makes it a high probability target. That's what we can target. So let's wait for a setup now. I found the target, this inversion from 15-minute chart. This blue shaded box that you see, that's our breaker block, by the way. Do you guys see a breaker block here in this choppiness? I don't see any fair value gap though to take a long. I do see a lot of fair value gap that will like short. I'm looking for a breaker block to be specific. So lower low, new lower low, right? Our stop hunt is here. New lower low right here. Where is our breaker block? According to this price action here. Do you guys see the breaker block? I'm just gonna hide these drawings here. These up close candles becomes our breaker block. Let's see if it's clear on 3-minute chart. Yeah, This candle's right here. Extend right, background. It's doing nothing rather than just consolidating, chopping around, right? So there's nothing to look at here in these charts. Look at the price action. I really honestly don't like this price action at all. The big wick, small candles body, I don't like it at all. But I'll still wait for a silver bullet setup to show up, then I will close. Maria is saying no trades for me today. I haven't liked price action, but I've enjoyed this tape reading. Thank you, Maria. Wes DJ is saying too choppy. Yes, it's too choppy, sloppy. Robert is saying correlation, yields up, VIX up, dollar up, stocks down as a result. Yeah, maybe. MK, we have a fair value gap on 50-minute US100. David is saying DXY bullish. Yes, I know that. I have been telling you guys that it's bullish, but I was expecting a run into that 50-minute until fair value gap, then a run into buy side liquidity, and it didn't happen. Marion Harris is saying Fed speaking at 1015. A lot of people are coming here and that they're telling me that dollar is bullish now. Before dollar, why no one told me that dollar is bullish before that bullish price action happened? I did told you when I started my stream. I talked about dollar in between like 8:30, and I told you guys that I'm expecting a bullish run into dollar, but first a drop into a 50-minute fair value gap, then a bullish run. Okay, if you cannot say to me something that will happen, that happened in price before, okay, like you are telling me something that is already happening, and we can see it, bullish price action, bearish price action. If you cannot predict it before it happens, don't talk. Robert Phillips is saying YM equal lows on the daily so far May 4. Scene is saying 10-15 news, so would not be expecting clean price action right yet. We have a 10-15 news, really? FOMC member Waller speaks. I don't care about this news. It's a low, medium impact news. It doesn't matter. But at 10:30 we have a news that is like natural gas storage. From my experience, I saw this news providing volatility in price action. At 1 we have 30-year bond auction. Yeah, on Dow, okay, and Dow is looking good. Let's look at Nasdaq. Dollar hit that 50-minute fair value gap that I talked about, right? I gave you guys a target that dollar is reaching for 102.090. Do you guys remember? That was our hourly fair value gap. Dollar reached that. Let's see if dollar reverses right towards the sell side. We can expect to see bullish price action on Dow and Nasdaq. I'm looking at Nasdaq. The breaker block that I outlined on Nasdaq is still valid. So that's our breaker block for Dow on 1 minute chart. Stop hunt below this low, new low. This up close candle becomes our breaker block. If it's not clear, okay, it wasn't clear for me on 1 minute chart. Then I looked at 3 minute chart and I found that this up close candle, I marked it. Then I refined the trade idea on 1 minute chart. Okay, I'll take this trade on demo. Let's say price giving us a chance to enter. At this candle, no chance to enter yet. Look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is also activating the breaker block that I outlined for you. If you guys look at 1 minute chart on Nasdaq didn't close the candle's body above the breaker block yet, so let's wait for that. And Dow is looking good, but it's rejected from this volume imbalance right here. I don't like this rejection, this aggressive rejection in price, and I don't see any fair value gap inside this breaker block. So I don't think I'll push the button here in this breaker block. Rather than I'll just wait and see what price does. This setup is not clean to me. To look for a buy on Dow, if you guys are looking at like 5 minute chart, you can see that we have a volume imbalance here. Okay, let me hide this breaker block drawing. 4 minute. Do you guys see this volume imbalance here right now? Yeah, so let's see if price respect this volume imbalance or not. I want to see this volume imbalance holding our trade idea. We are inside that 50-minute fair value gap though that I outlined. These two lines that you see, we are still inside the consolidation zone. That's the consolidation range. We are still outside it. Once price closes the candle's body above the breaker block, that's when we will get out of it. So I'm waiting for that to happen. So far it looks like price is respecting this volume imbalance. Do you guys see any fair value gap? On Nasdaq, I don't see any fair value gap. That price traded to. I don't have a clean analysis in any of this chart. I'm just watching this breaker block on US30, US100. Nothing is clean. It's just consolidating a lot. I think it's waiting for that natural gas news release. People are saying I see SMT with ES. Really, there's a SMT with ES. Let's see. SMT, where is the SMT? I don't see SMT. Okay, that's what I don't like. Price closed the candle's body below this volume imbalance here on from 5 minute chart. Now let's see if it still respect it or not. If it's not respecting, it will use it as an inversion volume imbalance to hunt sell side liquidity. So this breaker block is not valid anymore. Stop hunt, a lot of drawings in the choppiness. I really don't like this zone that price created. Okay, I want to see price getting out of it first. And on Nasdaq you can see price is still ranging inside a zone. So do you guys see this volume imbalance failed to provide support for price towards the buy side? Now price is using the same failed volume imbalance to hunt this sell side liquidity that's resting below this low right here. We are inside of a ranging zone, okay? Nothing to talk about, to be honest. Rather than sitting still, I don't even see a fair value gap. We are inside of the time that I tell you that a fair value gap will form 1020, 1030. We are inside of this zone. Let's wait to see if a fair value gap gets formed that will hunt sell side liquidity or not. I don't see any fair value gap here. There's no fair value gap here rather than this volume imbalance. On ES, still chopping inside of a range, nothing clear. Nasdaq, there's nothing. On Nasdaq, I do see this fair value gap though. Let's forget about this breaker block. Breaker block won't happen. So that's a fair value gap on Nasdaq, right? That's like a BPR, and we do have clean lows below. So let's see what Nasdaq gonna do. It's still choppy. If Nasdaq hits this fair value gap, okay, this BPR, then we can expect to see a run into this liquidity level right here. So something like this is very much possible. It's not a trade idea. I'm just analyzing and looking to see what happens. Okay, it's not clean at all, this price action. So if you are hoping to see a trade idea painting out, you are basically doing something wrong. You should not hope to see your trade idea getting correct here. Once price gets out of this zone, we can expect to see push the button. It's 10:25. At 10:30 we have that natural gas storage news. So you can see that how choppy it is, how range bound it is. So yeah, not me who's gonna push the button today anymore. Look at this, price generated relative equal lows. Okay, so I expected to see a run into sell side liquidity from this imbalance before a push up, but a push up did happen early after price consolidated for a little bit. On YM, price came down, generated relative equal lows. So at 10:30, the natural gas storage news will release. So we can still expect to see a run into sell side liquidity. As price left this relative equal lows here. Today is one of the choppiest day in my stream ever. Okay, I never saw price action this choppy when I was streaming in front of you. I saw price action choppier than this, but today is like an exceptional day. Today is way more choppier than it usually tends to be. Eddie is saying, I see fair value gap here on YM. Which fair value gap? That's a fair value gap, okay, that I outlined in front of you. So let's see if price rejects from here or not. And we are inside of our silver bullet zone. We do have target below here, so it's very much possible to see a drop from this fair value gap. This fair value gap is coming into the premium zone. So let's see what happens. I'm not like confirming anything because of the choppiness that you guys saw low. So there's no like high confirmation setup for me right now. Rather than just sitting still, I don't basically see anything here tradable. Wes DJ is saying, I'm sorry if you mentioned this in the past, but in your model, what invalidates the breaker block? Is it new low for bullish entry? No, the invalidation happens once price goes below the midway of the breaker block. So what is the midway? You measure the breaker block and you see the midway 0.5 level of the breaker block. If price is closing candles body below that, that's when basically that I consider that breaker block as a invalid breaker block. A valid one is price closing candles body above, then running aggressively towards the buy side. That's a valid bad breaker block to me. Okay, let's put the Nasdaq here. Nasdaq doing the same thing. Okay, the news released, the natural gas storage. Okay, let's see what kind of volume is providing to us. On NAS you can see that it's dropping. I really don't see anything to mention or talk about in any of these pairs. Okay, it's just a choppy, sloppy price action, very manipulative. I really don't like any of the candles that's opening here. It's either what I'm expecting to see a run from this fair value gap into this relative equal lows, and that run should be like aggressive, clean towards the sell side, but it's not happening. Price is not doing that, but on Nasdaq you can see price is providing sell side liquidity. So let's see if Nas is clearing out these relative equal lows here or not. So according to the six sister concept, the six sister is Dow right now. Okay, Nas, I think it will take out this relative equal low. Dow will drop down to this fair value gap, and it's very much possible for Dow to reverse from this fair value gap. So Nas took out this relative equal low. Good to see that. And Dow is just I want to see Dow coming into this fair value gap. Okay, Dow is the sixth sister here. So Nas cleared the relative equal lows. I want to see Dow dropping into this fair value gap and then reversing. Okay, it's most likely the ideal scenario for Dow will be to take out this relative equal lows. But according to the six sister concept, Dow is the six sister right now. Look at the sloppiness, slow price action on Dow compared to Nasdaq. Right, so that's the reason I'm expecting to see a reversal from this fair value gap on Dow. So I don't really like this price action. It's really irritating to me to just watch this price action. I don't like it at all. So that will be it for today, folks. I'm closing it here. And if you guys enjoyed the live stream, I expect to see a thumbs up from you. Other than that, I really don't see anything in price to talk about. Price just on Dow, it just hit this fair value gap here. So what we can expect to see a run into this low or run into this gap here. That's what is very much possible for Dow to happen. Other than that, I don't really see anything. And on dollar, an ideal scenario on dollar would be on sell side. Okay, an ideal target on dollar would be 101.907. That's a mitigation block there, so dollar can reverse from there. So that's what I'm looking at on dollar. And that will be it for today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hope to see the price action will become clear tomorrow. Do we have any news? We have a news at 10 o'clock, a high impact news. Okay, anyway, we'll see like what price present to us tomorrow. That's it for today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care and peace.